Okay, good afternoon. Running a little behind, but let's get started. I'd like to invite our panelists up to the stage. Casey Littlefield from Chevron, Brandon Schwartner from Priority Power is already here, and Chris Fraughton from Man Energy Systems. While we get started, I'd like to invite Dustin Stolz to kind of set some context here with some of our research and provide some context.
Hi, Chris, Brandon.
Chris Fraughton, nice to
Break
meet
it
you.
up, I'll go on the end.
Sure.
Are we good? This is all right. Good deal. Yeah, like Uday said, I get to talk about everybody's favorite subject, carbon. So, fun element. So, going down the decarbonization theme, these are some of the themes we're talking about. We've all heard about the IRA, and as Uday kind of hinted on earlier, right? Europe wasn't, the happiest with the IRA. There was some, they're all proud that we're moving forward with decarbonization and doing our part in America, but they weren't too happy about the U.S. building their own infrastructure in some way, right? It's a threat to them. So what we've seen in the last few weeks, EU finally released their bill to combat what's going on with the IRA. They've got the Green Deal Industrial Plan, and it's competing with the IRA on a couple fronts, right? They're looking at simplifying regulations to promote building a green infrastructure, speeding up access to financing, enhancing skills for their workers, as well as working with open trade and promoting EU industry worldwide. What's interesting though, right, if we look at the funding that's actually coming from both of these, right, the IRA provides the IRA and the IIJA combined give us about $370 billion of funding for a green energy transition, the infrastructure. About 50 billion of that, right, tied directly towards carbon reducing, handling carbon emissions. The Green Deal Infrastructure Plan, while it doesn't actually put new funds out there, it just is reallocating funds from, it's almost 270 billion, so even $100 billion less, but it's reallocating funds from the Repower UE funds and things like that. So they're just reallocating their money around and trying to promote their industry. CCUS, again, big topic. These projects are growing globally, but much more growth is needed to reach these targets. I mean, you can see right in the pipeline right now, we're looking at 242 million tons a year of total sequestration coming down the pipeline. But the net zero scenarios are requiring, 1.2 billion tons to be stored by 2030. So we've got a long way to go to reach these targets. But these opportunities are presenting opportunities for the upstream sector and oil and gas sector to benefit from this technology and from this industry. Many of these hubs and areas are co-located with active oil and gas regions and the saline aquifers underneath them to promote both EOR as well as sequestration right where oil and gas is already operating. Direct air capture is gaining a lot of steam thanks to the IRA and the tax credits involved with that, but it's got a long way to go. I'll reiterate after Uday asked me when I gave him this slide that current operating capacity on this scale is absolutely a zero. You can't see it. It's currently 8,000 tons a day, or 8,000 tons a year are being captured. Right? They're calling for 2030, 87 million tons. So right there's a long pathway to go on there. We've got 3 big companies that are currently operating in that space. That's Climeworks, Carbon Engineering, and Global Thermostat. Right, they run those 8,000 tons a year. But we do have a couple competitors coming along in the way. Right, 1.5 is working on a 1 million ton facility using Carbon Engineering's technology, and the other elephant in the room that's coming along now that's kind of came out of nowhere is carbon capture. They're saying 5 million tons. They're going to have 5 million tons a day. Right, compared to 8,000 today. There's another company out there that's claiming 1 billion tons by 2035. So we'll see if that actually happens. But there's a lot going on in this space, and we've actually got a multi-client study going on. We encourage, if you guys are interested or anything in that space, please reach out, ask us about it. We'd love to have you involved, and if there's any particular questions, we can incorporate those ideas into the study. Carbon markets, right? That's a fun one going on right now. If anybody anything about the markets, right, there's a voluntary market and there's a compliance market. The compliance market is significantly bigger in Europe. When we look at the voluntary market, right, we're seeing that As we move forward towards 2030, retirements are going to outpace issuances, and that's going to drive, that's going to keep supply tight and drive prices higher. So if you're planning on decarbonizing through purchasing credits, right, it's only going to get more expensive going forward. When we look at the actual value of the carbon markets, right, we can see that in 2018 they've grown. The market itself has grown from 122 billion to 823 billion today. And if we look at prices on the EU ETS market, right, those prices have grown to last year we're averaging $78 a ton. They've reached over $100 momentarily, but right, prices just keep going up. And one of the options we see for decarbonizing the oil and gas industry is small modular nuclear reactors. These provide an option for both decarbonization and for providing power in power-constrained plays. These nuclear reactors, they give an option to reduce emissions along several parts of the value chain, including completions, midstream compression, and gas production. Not only, can they provide power to remote areas, but these areas are an option to provide power and to give us a green option for reducing emissions to provide power for those segments. So kind of, in summary here, right, EU policymakers are coming around. There's more issues going on combating what's going on in the U.S. with their Green Deal plan. Carbon capture is continuing to advance, but there's a long way to go to meet the milestones that are being put out there. That industry, though, the CCS and CCUS industry, is a very valuable opportunity for the oil and gas industry in the U.S. Direct air capture's growing like crazy. There's a whole lot going on there, but again, it's, in its infancy today, has a long way to go to reach any milestone in front of it. Carbon markets continue to become more valuable, become bigger. They're becoming a bigger and bigger piece, and we see those prices increasing. And small nuclear reactors are an option for decarbonization within the industry. And with that, I'll turn it over to the panel here.